Lily K. Section 10.5. Today we're going to be talking about multiplication of integers. Okay? Now, before we get started with this first example, I'm going to tell you all that you need to know right now. And you know what? You guys have been doing this all along anyway when you're dealing with signs in front of numbers. What's the rule about signs in front of numbers? Can you tell me what that rule is, Hayes?
So when you're using negatives and positives, or
Yeah, how do we figure out, if we've got many signs in front of a number, how do we figure out what its sign is?
well, you see if there's an even number of negatives or an odd number. And if there's an odd number of negatives, then the number behind the set of signs is
Excellent. We count the number of negatives. If we have an odd number of negatives, the answer is negative. If we have an even number of negatives, the answer is positive. All right? Now, Helena, we're multiplying two numbers here. We're multiplying 8 times negative 2. We use the same rule. How many of them are negative?
2.
Are both of them negative?
Oh, 1.
I mean, the two. I'm sorry, let me show you what I'm talking about. I've got two numbers that I'm multiplying.
Oh, okay, 1.
One of those numbers is negative. One is an odd number, so the answer is negative. Okay?
Makes sense.
So, all I have to do is multiply the numbers. Matt, it says decide whether the product, I'm sorry. Let me read the directions first. Matt, it says decide whether the product is positive, negative, or 0 without solving the problem. Okay? So, just looking at this, is this thing going to be positive, negative, or 0?
It's going to be positive.
It's not going to be positive. It's going to be negative because we have an odd number of negatives, right? Okay? I've got one negative right here, so that means the answer is going to be negative. Now, let's go ahead and solve the problem. Let's go ahead and do that, Carson. We know the answer is going to be negative. We just multiply the numbers. What do we get?
16.
16, and we know the answer is negative. Perfect. Now, Lauren, remember that rule when we had, let's just say, we had negative, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, 3. Remember that? Lauren, what's the sign of this number? Instead of having all those signs out there, what is it? Is it positive or negative? It's negative. Why is it negative? Because there's an odd number of negatives, okay? So this is equal to negative 3. Done. So when we look, Lauren, we're going to use that rule with multiplication. I'm multiplying two numbers, and one of them's negative. Is one an odd number or an even number? It's an odd number, okay? And because it's an odd number, we're going to get negative 16. Now, Lauren, look at this. What about negative 2 times negative 4? What do you think the answer to this problem is? Positive 8. Perfect. There are two negatives. Exactly. So let's look at this one. Will, because you've been doing this since you were a little baby boy, 4 times 7. How many negatives? Is that an even number? Is 0 an even number?
Yes.
It is an even number. So what's the answer to this? Positive 28. Done. No, I know it said we weren't supposed to, but we're just learning. Okay? Okay, let's back up here. Do you see I've done several problems here? Just sort of to explain some things. This was the problem that we began with. Okay? One negative, that's odd, so the answer is negative. All right? Great job. Let's look at the next example.